Quackleval struts into the workroom ahead of Rebecca and Tweety, giving the camera a confident shimmy. A tense silence quickly fills the room, with all three queens still reeling from the bombshell that Pegasus dropped during last week's Untucked.
So there I was, thinking that I was sitting pretty with 2 wins and only 1 bottom placement, when Pegasus's big head appears on the screen and says, "Sorry bitches, but there's going to be another challenge, and the finale is a top 2 format." What?
Rebecca eventually asks the other queens how they're feeling about what Pegasus told them and what they hope the final challenge will be. Quackleval states that he's ready for whatever challenge Pegasus throws at them, and Tweety notes that Quackleval landed in the bottom the last time he said that, which makes Rebecca laugh.
That shady-ass bird has a point, but I'm still riding high from my win last week and don't intend to repeat what happened the first time I won a challenge. This clown is clocked in and focused on the crown and nothing but the crown. Top 3 or top 2, it doesn't really matter to me because the win is mine.
Rebecca shares that she's hoping for another design challenge this week. Tweety nods in agreement, but admits that he's surprised by her choice. And Rebecca replies that she's a better designer than the Runway challenge allowed her to show. So she wants to prove to the judges what she can do with the sewing machine now that number 5 isn't here to sabotage her. Quackleval laughs, insisting that although he respects her determination, Rebecca has to realize that she'll be going home this week.
I'm just being honest. She had that feud with 5, got her challenge win, and now her storyline is over. Pegasus should just send her home before the challenge and let Tweety and I duke it out for the crown. It's really the only humane thing to do.
Rebecca rolls her eyes and says that she won't be the one leaving this week, adding that if anyone is running on borrowed time, it's Quackleval.
I've been in the top for the majority of the competition, whereas the judges checked Quackleval for his ego in week 2 and literally had to hand him a second win to pad his track record. I'm here to become Toon World's first drag superstar. I've made it farther than every other queen who came for me this season, and Quackleval won't be any different.
Rebecca and Quackleval continue to argue as Tweety sits back with an amused look. After a moment, the queens are interrupted by the workroom siren.
My queens, you have already fought long and hard to prove why you deserve to be Toon World's first top 3, and this week's challenge will be your hardest yet. But first, I want to spend a little more time getting to know each of you. I value honesty in my queens, so for this week's mini challenge, you will each be hooked up to a lie detector and asked several questions. Whoever answers the most questions honestly wins.
Rebecca Hawkins won the mini challenge and will receive an advantage during this week's main challenge.
Those questions were more intense than I was expecting, but I'm not here to lie. I'm still a bit gagged by some of the things that Tweety and Quackleval admitted, and I'm also slightly concerned that Pegasus was able to dig up that information on all of us. Right now though, I'm just hoping that my advantage will help me secure a second win before the finale.
Ladies, for your final challenge, you will bring 3 looks to the runway in Toon World's first ever ball, the Shakespeare Ball. The categories are Elizabethan Drag Excellence, where each of you will showcase your best Elizabethan era glamour. Next, we have The Globe Theatre is Burning, where you will present looks inspired by one of William Shakespeare's most famous tragedies. And your third category is Women of Shakespeare, where I'd like you to pay tribute to one of the many female characters featured in Shakespeare's work. And because this is the finale, I've decided to give you a bit of an extra challenge. Your Women of Shakespeare looks must be constructed entirely from the scraps of paper that have been scattered across the workroom tables. Rebecca, as the winner of the mini challenge, you will receive a 5-minute head start in selecting your materials. In fact, your time starts now.
Rebecca sprints to the piles of paper, sorts through the material, and grabs as many scraps as she can carry. After 5 minutes, Tweety and Quackleval rush to the tables and make quick work of selecting their scraps. Tweety and Rebecca bring their materials to their usual workstation, while Quackleval walks to the other side of the room to start his design. Rebecca and Tweety begin working at a steady pace, and Tweety quickly comments that Rebecca seems laser-focused this week. Without turning her head away from her sewing machine, Rebecca tells Tweety that she's excited about her design and intends to show the judges and Quackleval why the Toon World crown belongs to her. Tweety replies that he's happy for her, but is also curious to know why there's a prosthetic tongue at her station. Rebecca shrugs, gently informing Tweety that it's a part of her look, and if he's wondering what she has in mind, then he'll just have to see the finished product on the runway like everyone else.
I've really channeled my passion into the challenges these past few weeks, and I feel like everything has started to come together for this design. I know that my first 2 runways are perfect, and I'm trying to make sure that every inch of this dress is also immaculate. I want to make a serious statement about my drag tonight, and if I can pull off what I have planned, then I know the judges will be thoroughly gagged.
As Rebecca and Tweety continue to work, Rebecca notices that Tweety seems a bit distracted. She questions him about it, and Tweety replies that he isn't feeling confident about his looks for the challenge. Rebecca reviews his sketches and what he's put together so far, commenting that she actually likes the design. Tweety thanks her, but insists that he isn't satisfied with how things are looking, adding that he tried to start over but couldn't come up with a better concept.
I'm trying to get back into the headspace of the Tweety who won the Runway challenge, but nothing that I get down on paper feels as strong as it should. I'm not giving up, I just can't seem to get my mind together.
Rebecca encourages Tweety to take a few minutes away from his design and collect his thoughts, suggesting that constantly staring at his sketches isn't going to help him get into a better headspace. Tweety quips that Rebecca just wants him to walk away so that he doesn't have as much time to produce a sickening look, and Rebecca immediately claps back, stating that Tweety has barely started his design, so she isn't especially worried about him regardless. Tweety cackles and takes a deep breath before stepping away from his workstation, deciding to heed Rebecca's advice.
If he was having problems with his machine or the materials, then I'd be more than willing to help Tweety. Unfortunately, I think the problems are in his mind this week, and there's only so much that I can do to get through to him. He just doesn't seem focused. Hopefully, taking a few minutes to breathe will be enough to get him back on track.
Tweety paces across the workroom, rubbing his temples with his wings, and notices that Quackreval is staring at him. Curious, Quackreval asks Tweety what he's doing, and Tweety states that he's just taking a few minutes away from his workstation to collect his thoughts. Quackreval just laughs, commenting that Tweety looks like he's cracking under the pressure of the competition. Tweety snaps back, stating that the only things cracking around here are Quackreval's dried out makeup brushes, which causes both queens to chuckle.
It's easy to tell when someone is starting to sweat about their performance. You can see it in their eyes. For Tweety, I can already tell that the struggle is real this week. I have no intention of stopping my work to help, but maybe I can smack him back in the right direction.
Tweety asks how Quackreval is feeling about the challenge, and Quackreval stares Tweety down, asking if he really wants to know or if he's just wasting time so that he has an excuse if he flops the challenge. Taken aback, Tweety insists that he was simply asking a question, and Quackreval shrugs, saying that everyone knows he's going to eat this challenge up. To emphasize his point, he gestures at his sewing machine, revealing that most of his garment is already finished.
Although I'll never tell him to his face, Quack Wobble really turned it out during the origami challenge. And as much as I hate to admit it, it looks like he's on track to slay this runway as well. Is it too late to pull a Flygon and tear his dress to shreds?
Tweety tries to continue the conversation, but Quackreval abruptly stops sewing and gives him a sharp glance, telling Tweety to go back to his workstation so that he can focus. When Tweety opens his mouth to reply, Quackreval cuts him off, insisting that he's wasting time instead of trying to put together something presentable for the judges, and Quackreval won't allow himself to be Tweety's excuse for underperforming.
I'm not going to coddle any of these bitches or sugarcoat my words to make others feel better. When I tried to take it easy during a challenge, I got chewed the hell out, and so I'm doing the same for Tweety. I refuse to be his excuse for performing poorly this week. We've made the top 3. Put your back into the competition or go back to Granny's house.
Tweety starts to reply before he stops and nods his head, admitting that Quackreval is correct before asking if this is his version of being nice. Quackreval shrugs, clarifying that this is what he calls being honest, before returning to his sewing machine with renewed focus. Tweety nods again and returns to his workstation, determined to create something cohesive for the judges.
Welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Toon World Season 1. Allow me to introduce our supreme panel of judges. First, she's our resident judge, the blonde bombshell herself. It's my Valentine. Next we have our special guest judge, an expert in balls of all different shapes, sizes, and colors. From Cartoon Drag Race Philippines Season 1, he's Venti. This week, we asked our queens to showcase Elizabethan glamour and theatrical beauty in Toon World's first ever ball, the Shakespeare Ball. Venti, darling, thank you for joining us tonight. I trust that the flight over wasn't too rough.
The jet lag is kicking my fabulous ass, but for the amount of money that I'm getting for my appearance, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
You're getting paid for this gig?
You actually have to win a challenge on your season to get paid my.
Now wait a damn minute.
Moving on, let the runways begin.
Coqueval and Rebecca Hawkins slayed the challenge.
Although I ate up every category, the look that I'm most proud of is the one I made in the workroom. Helga's not the only queen who can send a message through her drag. I decided to portray Lavinia from Titus Andronicus for my Women of Shakespeare look. I come out in a stunning paper gown, and then I tear my dress, rip out my prosthetic tongue, and like Lavinia and so many other women throughout history, I am silenced by my abusers. Only at the end of my runway walk do I reveal the truth of what has been done to me. My look is beautiful, bloody, and as ugly as the violence that women face every day. I am proud to have made it myself.
On the runway, I'm serving you Romeo and Juliet Eleganza in my tribute to the iconic lovers. I start out as Romeo, mug-stamped and wearing a gorgeous paper doublet that I dyed blue. I stomp to the center of the stage and gulp down a potion, but unlike Romeo, I don't die. Instead, I throw off my wig, and guess who's Juliet now, bitch? The judges are living as I reveal a full-length, deconstructed paper gown with a petticoat and bustle. And you know that I don't leave anything behind on this stage. Oh, happy dagger, indeed.
Tweety Bird had a good performance.
The judges didn't seem to love my initial runways, but I'm extremely proud of the paper look that I managed to piece together. My tribute to Lady Macbeth is a lovely white two-piece. When I walk to the center of the stage, I squeeze my hand, and suddenly blood runs down my arm, coating the whole look in a red sheen. Even if it's not perfect, it's a lovely garment.
My sickening top 3. These will be your last critiques of the season. Quackwavel, please step forward. For one final time, start us off.
Quackwaval, tonight you really proved that a clown can do fashion and presented us with some of your strongest looks across the entire season. I think that your Globe Theatre is Burning runway was the strongest out of everyone, and this paper look is a fantastic tribute to Shakespeare's most iconic work. I like that your reveals were clean and that I couldn't predict what your last outfit was going to transform into. Fabulous job.
Although I agree that your second and third looks were some of the strongest of the night, I have a bit of an issue with your first look. The category is Elizabethan Drag Excellence, and your outfit was probably the least excellent thing that you presented. It just looked like a standard Renaissance fair dress that you added a few jewels and a hoop skirt to. And for the top 3, you need to go a lot further than that. Overall, you had a fantastic presentation. I just think that your first look got you off to a bit of a slow start.
What impressed me most about your looks is that you were the only queen to pay homage to the gender-bending nature of Shakespeare's works and early modern theater as a whole. Choosing to come out as both Romeo and Juliet in this sickening look was a powerful fashion and cultural statement. 2 snaps to you. I was very impressed.
Tweety Bird, please step forward.
Tweety, we've seen you serve some stunning looks throughout this competition, but tonight was not your night. All of your runways were fine, but compared to what your sisters presented, fine just doesn't make the cut. Your first look felt like you brought an outfit from home and repurposed it to fit the category, and your second look was pretty but lacked a strong point of view. Your Lady Macbeth look is very well constructed, which I want to praise you for, but it's also a bit simple, especially considering what we've seen you sew in the past.
This was a big stumble for you, Tweety. And I think what surprised me most about your performance was your face. As I've said before, I'm used to seeing you locked in from the second that you step onto the stage and find the camera. But tonight I could see your hesitation. It felt like you were your biggest obstacle this week, and it showed in all of your looks. If you aren't feeling the garment, then I sure as hell won't be.
I'm not going to read you for your looks. I think that even you know the struggle was real tonight. However, I do want to commend you on your mug and your overall makeup skills. From executing that blood trick on a garment you made yourself to serving as 3 distinct mugs that matched your runways, I was very impressed. Each face really enhanced your looks, and I didn't want those skills to go unnoticed.
All right, Rebecca Hawkins, please step forward.
Rebecca, tonight felt like a big exclamation point on everything that you've shown us throughout the season. Your first runway look was easily the strongest in the category. Your gown was regal, very Queen Elizabeth, and the detailing was perfect. And although your second runway was equally strong, you really pulled everything together in the look that you made. I understood the message from the moment that your runway performance began. It's fashion meets social commentary, and you should be very proud for creating this in only a few days.
Your paper runway was something that I could see walking at the Met Gala. The dress is fashion forward, and you've more than made up for your performance in the runway challenge earlier this season. Overall, I really want to praise you for how complete and well detailed each of your garments was tonight. I can tell that you thought about every inch of the look from the top of your wig to the tips of your heels, and that focus elevated you to a different level.
Are you even corseted tonight? You're not? Oh, you bitch. Your waist is absolutely snatched in that gown, and you managed to bring the beauty of drag and the horror of reality to the stage tonight in a way that many other performers struggled to accomplish. Your idea was smart, conceptual, powerful, and you executed it perfectly. I've loved everything that I've seen from you tonight.
Queens, after sharing our thoughts with you and deliberating amongst ourselves, here are your placements for the week. Rebecca Hawkins, tonight your Shakespeare-inspired looks were Tony-worthy. Congratulations, you are the winner of this week's challenge, and will advance to the final 2 to compete for the title of Toon World's first drag superstar.
I walked into this competition ready to put everything that I had on the line, and I cannot tell you how good it felt when Pegasus called my name and said that I was a finalist. It made all of the effort, time, and sacrifices that I've poured into my drag feel worthwhile. I said that I was here to stay, and I meant it. I just hope that Tweety gets to stay alongside me.
Tweety Bird, tonight your Shakespeare runways were shaky. I'm sorry, my dear, but you are up for elimination. Quackwavel, while your final looks tonight were absolute serves, the judges and I feel that your Elizabethan runway lacked glamour. I'm sorry, my dear, but you are also up for elimination.
There's just one more lip sync, and then nothing stands between me and the crown but Rebecca. And let's be honest here, does she even count as an obstacle? I'm not scared. I already sent home Padme and Esmeralda, and now it's Tweety's turn.
Quack Waffle's a more daunting queen to lip sync against than Helga, but don't count me out just yet. This comedy queen still has a few tricks up his sleeve.
The lip sync song is Tear Tamara by Doja Cat. Quackwavel slayed the lip sync. Tweety Bird broke a light on the stage and had a bad lip sync.
Ladies, I have made my decision. Quackwavel, Shantae, you stay. You may go to the back of the stage. Tweety Bird, this season would not have been the same without your comedic excellence and camp brilliance. Thank you for bringing your drag to Toon World. Now, my dear, sashay away.
I didn't think I'd have to prepare an exit line, so I'll just see you bitches on All Stars.
Congratulations to Cartoon Drag Race, Toon World's first ever top 2. And to the viewers at home, we'd like to hear from you. Are you Team Quackwavel or Team Rebecca? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Now, let's go untuck.
This is Untucked.
When filming the end of this episode, Rebecca and Quackwavel both informed production that they'd rather eat Quackwavel's crusty makeup brushes than be left alone in a room together. Therefore, Untucked was promptly cancelled.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Now remember, be proud, feel free, and live your life, always.